It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Quinn restaurant at Lincoln Atlantis Avenue in Vineland. And this is Mayor Fanucci's show. The mayor called us, and he'll be here early next month for sure. He had a busy day today because it's Juneteenth.
Yes.
Tell everybody what Juneteenth's about, Sandy.
We had a little ceremony on front of City Hall today. We raised the flag that they have for Juneteenth. This was a celebration of, I guess, when the last slaves were freed in Texas. So it was a nice little ceremony.
Was it 250 years ago? I thought I saw how many years ago it was.
I don't.
It was before we were around.
No, it was 18 something. It couldn't have been 250 years ago.
No, that's right. That was not the
200 years ago would have been 1820. No, it was definitely not 250 years. No, it was. I should know the exact date, but I don't.
It's wonderful that they're acknowledging the freedom of slavery and everything that's going on. But speaking of things going on, you always have great things going on in Vineland. And one thing that we hadn't talked about a lot, but is going to be like world class, is John Ruga and Mike Trout. And I guess even Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods is designing the course. Yes.
Okay, that's
so they're. Wow. Yeah, that was a great development. You know, we started out with the Improvement Authority buying this land. That was an old land. It was an old sand mining.
Yes,
the topography was terrible, and at first the city looked at it because we wanted. It was 250 acres off of 55, so we definitely were interested in it. But then we got an engineer's estimate of what it would cost for the city to develop it, and because it was a sand mine, the topography was crazy. You had all these little sand washes, and you had mounds of dirt and ditches, and we would have had to spend millions to level it out. But if you remember, we were going to do a sports complex there.
Yes.
That didn't hang out. But the one thing we did, we got together with the Improvement Authority. So the city and the Improvement Authority, we knew the acreage was valuable.
Right.
So we bought it.
So the city and the Improvement Authority.
Yeah, we bought the land together.
Okay.
And then it just so happened that it worked out. So we were told, the city was told, the best use would always be a single person, because to cut it up into parcels and make it an industrial park, we would have had to sell the lots for like $200,000 per acre when we were selling it for $35,000 an acre.
Wow.
It was just too much work. Yeah, so we bought it, and John Ruga was in Millville, and he needed more acreage to expand, and he was talking to Jerry because he was in Millville, and then we said, hey, why don't you look at this? And he was one of the few people that could use the land. He's got all the equipment, and actually the low topography was good for his batch plant and things like that. So he said, okay, we'll buy the whole thing. And then he did. So there's high tension, and then to make it even worse, there's high tension wires going through, bisects the property. So on the south side of the wires are all his businesses.
I see.
And then he was going to fix the north side of the wires and make it like a small industrial park. But then this thing with Mike Trout developed.
That's when the golf course.
The whole golf course idea. And it's funny because our first use of the property was to make it a big sports complex.
That's right. And
so we got a little bit of both. We got an industrial park, and he's going to have other things. He's going to have in the front. He's going to have like a clubhouse. He's going to have a shooting range and things like that. So it's going to be nice, and he'll have a restaurant. And things like that. Yeah. Some things open to the public. Well, I'm not sure if I don't know right now of any plans he has. But yes, absolutely, we will need hotels.
Yeah, that should draw a lot of people in. It's interesting. We have
the wall's up too.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, he's put up like a 10-foot wall all the way to
We should have put it down in Mexico for Trump.
Oh, there you go. Who knows? Maybe he is. I don't
Well,
know.
John would come through whatever he
Yeah,
says
if
he's
somebody
going to
hires
do.
him, if he can do it, he
Well, he
can.
can. I'll tell you, I just am amazed. He's such a great guy. When I was the mayor, they opened up their company in Millville in the industrial park, and I watched what they were doing. Was he was basically making basement walls.
Yeah, Superior Wall.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. I
Yes.
forgot the name. Superior Walls. And I thought, wow, this is really neat, because instead of having to have somebody come in and lay block by block by block, they made them and they could bring them in and put them in place for you quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then magnificently, it goes from Superior Walls to Northeast Precast, where all the warehouses and things like that could be made, and they bring them there. They make them there.
Highway walls.
Oh, that's right. Yep. At 295. 42.
Yeah, no. This was great.
Yeah.
This was great.
And what a nice man. I mean, he just is a super person.
Yes.
And it's great to have him in Vineland, and the investment that he and Mike Trout are making in it. It'll be a fabulous golf course. And as you said, Tiger Woods is designing it. So, and it's just really wonderful. Another great asset for the city of Vineland and Cumberland County. And it's something that we can all look forward to. Do you play golf?
No, I don't.
Miss Gary?
No. My kids do. My two kids do.
I played, but you gotta be. This was funny. It's a benefit tournament for my church. This is years back, St. John Bosco. So I was running the tournament, and we were centered in Country Club for the tournament, and it was best ball tournament. So I have my team, 4 people. One of my team on my team gets sick, and he can't continue. And they said, Jim, come on, everything's running well. You come play with us. I said, guys, I'm not any good. Oh, we need somebody. It's best ball. So
right.
Yeah. So anyway, I tee one up, and I hit it 100 yards straight down the fairway. And they said, yeah, you're no good. I get to the ball where it is. I take the whatever number 5 iron or whatever, and I hit it, and it goes about 6 inches. I said, that's me. See, I'm not good at golf, guys. I just can't do it. And I know people love it, and it's a relaxing sport, for sure. But it takes a lot of time too.
Yeah, but it's a good sport, especially if you're older. It doesn't,
that's true. Speaking of older, we actually had the championship, the Cumberland County Cobras football team. There are people, some of the guys on the team are in their 40s. They are playing for the championship. I think it's this weekend coming up in Maryland. But they won all of this region. They really did. We carried their games on TV. So you talk about at 30 and 40 years old playing tackle football. These guys were doing it.
Wow.
But speaking of, my goodness, we'd be remiss for jumping over. But what a great thing for Pacheco. Huh? Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's so funny because I saw on Facebook somewhere, somebody because I get the Kansas City Chiefs, whatever the stream, I get it on my Facebook page, but somebody said, isn't Mike Trout from there too, or something? Like, hey, we're getting neat.
Yeah, that's true. We got one of the best baseball player in America is Mike Trout, and
he was born in Vineland.
Yes, he was. Yes, that's true. Yeah. Yep, because there's
I know he grew up in Millville, but he was.
He's a Vineland baby. In fact, my kids were born in Vineland too. There was no
Millville. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's which is nice.
But to have those two names associated, that's really something.
It really is. And my gosh, it's super. And both really great guys, great young fellas. And it was funny. John Capozola, who's a friend of mine, John taught Isaiah in school. And then I saw a picture of John with President Biden at the ceremony where Isaiah and the Kansas City Chiefs got their honor from the president. And John happened to get in with Isaiah. So he got a picture of Biden. Some people said they didn't know if it's going to help him in the election or not.
Well, that's true.
But, Johnny's such a great guy. And he teaches phys ed to the middle schools. And that's where he had Isaiah. It's pretty neat to be able to. In fact, Mike Trout, when he was 5 years old, is when I got elected mayor of Millville in 1997. His dad finished second, was sort of like my vice mayor. And I'll never forget, during the ceremony afterwards, we had a luncheon. Mikey's 5, and he comes up to me, he goes, Mr. Mayor, when I get to be a big man, I want to be the mayor too. And I see him now, and he goes, "No, Jim,
No,
I
thanks.
don't want to do that. No, thank you." But what a good guy, and he's just broke Joe DiMaggio's record.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
yeah.
He's breaking records like crazy, and and it's neat that he's investing in Vineland and Cumberland County with John as well. Two good people. They'll be great partners, and it'll be a wonderful thing for our area. That people will be able to come there and enjoy playing golf. For those that love to play golf, there's a lot of.
Well, so he's going to. I mean, he's going to have the private golf course for like the. I mean, it's going to be a little exclusive, but he is, because he is a community person, he is doing the 9-hole that will be public golf course.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
That's good.
yeah, that'll be a little closer to the Lincoln and Sheridan area. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got you. That's good.
Yeah.
I didn't know that because I knew the one was going to be upscale. And it's going to be for people that, have some money.
Yeah, it's private membership.
I
Yeah.
got you. Right. Yeah.
So
That'll be, tell you what, how wonderful he is. The Thunderbolt Club, which is the Millville Sports Boosters Club, they run a golf tournament. Mike Trout runs the golf tournament for them, and they make a couple $100,000 a year from the tournament that goes to scholarships for Millville high school athletes.
Oh, good. Well, that's very good.
Yeah, so I mean, talk about somebody giving back to the community as well. And of course, John Rube is a very generous person also. So what a good team. They're together as well.
No, This is very good.
Yeah. We're talking with Sandy Forosisky, Economic Development Director for the City of Vineland. Mayor Fanucci will be back next month. We're going to be doing the show a little earlier next month because I'm worried about the mayor. Today he had the Juneteenth event that he was doing. Of course, usually in July people go on vacation, but he told me before the show that he was telling Sandy that he'll be here in early July. So the next couple of weeks we'll be back at the Quinn restaurant at Lincoln and Landis in Vineland, where you get fabulous meals. Sandy and I had a very good crab cake meal earlier tonight before we went on the air. And the nice thing is they have the 2 for $25 meals, which I usually get the turkey with stuffing and vegetable and a salad or soup and dessert. And it really is $12.50. And then whoever you're with, it's $12.50 for them. It's unbelievable when you think about it. The amount of food you get is phenomenal. It's soup or salad, entree, vegetable, dessert, all that for $12.50. What are you waiting for? It's almost cheaper than going to a fast food restaurant. And the food is delicious. Come on in, say hello to Yelmans and the people here at the Queen restaurant. We'll be back with more right after these messages.
I'm Brian Lankin, third generation business owner, Al Shoes. Been at the same location since 1961, our 61st year. We specialize in work boots, work shoes, orthopedic shoes, baby walking shoes, and school shoes. We go up to a men's 17 and a woman's 13. It's $5 off 25 and 10 off 100 if you mention that you've seen this.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
I chose DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home because they treated me with respect and compassion. I couldn't have gone through all this if I didn't have DeMarco Luisi by my side. They did everything that they could to make me happy, and that was important to me and my kids.
At the DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we're here for you and your family in your time of need.
New Life Church in Millville, New Jersey presents a musical celebration of God and country. Join us on July 2nd for our musical celebration of the independence of our nation. We'll celebrate our nation's freedom and our personal freedoms through our salvation in Jesus Christ. It happens July 2nd at New Life Church in Millville, New Jersey, as we celebrate God and country.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Thank God for your dad.
Jesus.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. Jim Quinn along with Sandy Forosisky. And we're at the Queen restaurant, Lincoln Atlantis in Vineland. Open 7 days a week, and come on in. And, great food, reasonable prices, very nice servers too. I'm really impressed with the people that work here. Yelmont Skankel is the owner, and it's one of the nicest people you'll want to deal with. So please, when you're thinking about it, plenty of room, beautiful place too, one of the nicest looking restaurants in Vineland, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the food as well. So come on by to the Queen restaurant, Lincoln Atlantis Avenue in Vineland. And speaking of Vineland, one of the biggest things in Vineland is all the activity going on in Landis Avenue, Sandy. It's fabulous. Tell us about.
Well, we have a movie studio coming to Landis Marketplace.
Okay, will that go in where the marketplace?
Yeah, where the marketplace, where the Amish Market used to be. Yeah, okay. Weekly World News Studios. They're in New York. They already filmed a zombie movie with Vinny Pescatore. It was Mayor Finucci was in it.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it's coming. They're in the final cut now, so
that's cool.
Hopefully it'll be released. They're going to do 3, so they're calling it a zombie. It's a zombie comedy. I didn't know the zombie genre is very popular, and this is about a zombie wedding where a zombie marries a human. So they're going to do 3. They're doing zombie wedding, zombie family vacation, and then zombie divorce and reconciliation. They got all 3, but we're excited. And then Jay Wow from Jersey Shore came down and met with us. She's filming her horror movie in Vineland. And then I met with her producer, and he's going to do 3 movies. So yeah, they really loved working on Landis Avenue. They filmed the first movie. They used Landis Marketplace as their studio, where all the actors came. They got their makeup, and it was cool because people on the avenue could, see them putting on seeing all the zombie makeup, and they patronized all the restaurants on Landis Avenue, and we have such a plethora of ethnic restaurants, and nobody knows about these, or they, maybe they know, but they don't go, but they are the best ethnic restaurants. But these movie studio people who travel all over, they said, we love your downtown. Yeah. We've never had so many restaurants. We just walked to them.
That's nice.
It was really nice. So they said, we love your town. Yeah. So anyway, they're buying this new volumetric theater where, I guess you're familiar, it's all the green screen, but it's like 360 degrees.
Oh, okay.
And it's the latest technology where you could shoot any city in the world right in this little, room.
Wow.
And now this is exciting.
Yeah.
And it'll bring activity to the downtown. And then we're also hopefully building a new building. We have a microbrewery coming.
Oh, you don't have one downtown.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
We don't really have one in Vineland. They did their research, found Glasstown was their only real competition.
Right, and that's south of the airport. That's a ways.
Yeah, so these guys are experienced. So we're excited about that.
Where's that going to go?
Well, we're going to actually. So we needed to redevelop an empty lot on 7th Street on Landis Avenue. So it's one building off of Landis Avenue, but we tore down the old Daily Journal building.
Oh, I see.
So we had put out an RFP for redevelopment one time, but we really didn't like the response. It wasn't what we wanted. And then we thought, you know what? Why don't we build a new building and lease it to them? The Vineland Development Corp is doing it. And really, they want to own it, but we said, okay, fine, we'll rent it to you until you're getting started. But they had a pretty good business plan, and they, like I said, the 3 partners have a lot of experience. So
are they local people?
They
South Jersey, I guess.
They are, yes. Until it happens.
Right. Yeah.
I'll let them make the announcement.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But that's great.
And Landis Theater, Casey Ray's open downstairs. And
what's Casey Ray's?
Well, so the Landis Theater, the restaurant attached to it is called Casey Ray's. Okay. So upstairs they were open. So upstairs they do great things. They do karaoke on some nights, and they have all different kind of nights, which they did well. But they recently opened the downstairs, and they hired this young new chef.
Oh, you were mentioning that before.
And she's terrific.
Oh,
I mean, she's getting a reputation because their hamburgers are to die for. They really are delicious, smash burgers. But I had their cod, and my girlfriend had now my girlfriend lived in Paris for several years. She said this was the most authentic French meal she ever had.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So then come to find out the girl traveled all around the world, and she's you would have never knew if she just cooks phenomenally.
So there's a French flair to it?
No, well, okay. I would say that dish I wouldn't call it a French restaurant. And they do great flatbreads. Yeah.
Oh God, they're great.
Yeah. So it's finally, it's really starting to, it's been a couple of years now. He's got things going on, every weekend. You know how hard it is for a theater.
It is. Yeah,
it's so hard for theaters to sustain themselves. People don't understand. Everybody wants to do their theater, but it takes a lot of money. Yeah. And so anyway, finally, I think we found the right, partnership where.
So are they open for lunch and dinner?
Yes, they're open now. Their lunch has picked up since Facebook, people saying how great their burgers are and everything. They were running out of food.
Wow.
Yeah, the night of the cruise last Saturday, they were out of food.
Yeah, I'll bet you.
Oh my God, they got slammed so hard between upstairs and downstairs. Yeah, so I'm excited. I think having a movie studio, having the theater, having the brewery, and then the specialty retail. You got you have the jewelry store, the sodas. You have Al's Shoes. Right, you have the spot. It's never going to be what it was, but it's certainly becoming something different. And then the city, we ordered some lights. How we always have the Christmas lights? Yeah, well, we're going to do the year round, like they'll be white. Yeah. I really think that's going to make,
I always wanted to try to do that in Millville when I was there, but unfortunately we didn't own the electric. But that's exciting. It really is. I think it'll be so classy. It's funny though. You're talking about cruising the avenue.
Yeah.
And I did that.
Was perfect.
I did that in high school. In the early years of college when I was going to Glassboro State at the time. Of course, on the weekends I would cruise the avenue. I had a brand new Chevy Impala, and I loved cruising the avenue. Now, see, Gary's a lot younger than me. Did Gary cruise the avenue? You probably didn't either.
We hung out on the avenue, but we didn't cruise the avenue. I remember hanging out down there, but I have older sisters, and I remember they did that. But I think that.
When that sort of, I'm doing it back in the 60s. So.
Well, let's say, I would say they were still doing it around 1970, but I'd say, it probably all happened at around the same time when the mall opened. And
Good point. Yes,
early 70s, it kind of just.
Downtown sort of took a hit.
Yeah,
that's a good point. But it is interesting. Landis Avenue, like you said, you have all the ethnic restaurants. You've got probably the only shoe store in South Jersey, and I love it.
Yeah, he has all the special shoes.
He does great stuff there, and
and we have so many bridals.
That's true too.
Yeah, Rienzi's still, and we had Jessie. I don't think she's doing it anymore.
What do you call it? The former mayor, he still has his place.
Oh yeah, Ruben Bemers. He has the formal wear.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
As well. So it's really pretty neat, and the restaurants are great, and you got vegan, vegetarian, you got everything.
We got Indian, we've got Mexican, we've got Puerto Rican, we've got the vegan, we've got Italian. It really is.
Yeah. And now you have Casey Ray's.
And Casey Ray's with the best burgers around.
Wow, and that's something. People love their burgers too. Now I'm going to have to go there and get cod because I'm.
The cod was delicious.
Try that. That'll be super. So are they open 7 days a week?
They may be. They may be closed on Mondays. Sundays,
sense.
Mondays. They may be.
Yeah. Tuesday,
I think they are.
At least they're open Friday, Saturday.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I have to go there. It's a new place to go, which is nice because I tend to get frustrated with myself. I get in the same habit of going to the same places. I guess a lot of people do that, but I go out to eat almost every evening because I don't cook. So in a lot of places in Vineland I go to here, Riggy's, I love Olympia. You know,
Oh yeah.
Dulcie Drive. And you know what's interesting? I really had a neat time at Green Olive. We had a fundraiser there, and it was really cool.
No, he's
We had that big room, private room. What they did was they put this fundraiser together. It was very inexpensive. They have those delicious small pizzas that they do, the brick oven pizzas. So the fundraiser was pizzas, beer, wine, and soda, and it was very inexpensive. And we actually made some money on the fundraiser. It wasn't that expensive for the people that had to pay for it. And it was really a nice place. And of course, I go there, and this is funny, Christine is the bartender there. You know her, she used to be at the Ramada. And just a great lady, a really nice person. And she switched from the Ramada to there years ago. And when I first went in, I didn't know she was up front because you could eat in the bar area too.
right.
So whoever I was with, a buddy of mine and I, we went, sat in the restaurant part. She comes back, she goes, Jim, Quinn, I want you up front the next time you come here. So from now on, I eat in the front. So I get to see Christine, and I get to see a lot of my Millville friends that are up there too, because it's really close
Yeah,
to
it's very close
Millville.
to South Vineland. Yeah.
Yeah, they do a nice job as well. There's so many great places in Vineland to eat. And of course,
Yeah, we do. We have quite a few
we
restaurants.
really do. That's the truth. I mean, well, and Maplewood is always excellent.
Yeah,
You know,
always.
I guess I can go on and on. I'm sure it must be. Gosh, I wonder if we ever did a count of restaurants in Vineland. It's got to be at least 50. Wouldn't you think?
Well, if you look at
Landis
all
Avenue.
Delsey
Yeah.
Drive, Landis Avenue,
Yeah.
I would say even look at this intersection.
that's
You're
true,
right
too.
across the
Yeah.
street. You have an Italian,
Right.
and then finally Cafe Centro is reopened. What is it? La Vita? Don't you?
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, that's that's going to be an Italian restaurant.
That's right. That's that had been closed
That's
for
been
years.
closed forever.
Right?
Yeah,
that's what somebody was
Cafe
saying.
Centro.
Yeah.
Remember?
That's where my eye doctor is. Do you know my eye doctor? No, you don't, because we talked about it. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Mine's Chris Marachko. He has Ideal Vision.
Okay.
He's in that shopping center.
Okay.
That's why I mentioned that. So, and he has great value, folks, like $59.95 complete, everything. Eye exam. What a nice man. He really is one of my favorite people. He is a really great young guy, and it's a good place to go, especially it's very inexpensive. I'll say that for him. He's always amazed at me because I go in, and as old as I am, he said, "You still don't have cataracts." I said, "Well, that's a good thing."
Yeah.
Take good care of me with the contacts anyway, and I have glasses at nighttime.
Yeah, I was, well, so I have an astigmatism, and now as I got older, I need glasses for reading. But so my contacts corrected my astigmatism,
Oh, that's good.
but not, so I couldn't read. So I wore my contacts, and I was absolutely
wow.
blind. So then I got, I forget, monovision. They put one of each, and then it's
Yeah,
like,
right.
I couldn't get used to it. I said,
Yeah.
you know what? I have the progressive
they're
glasses.
nice, yeah.
I not transitional, progressive.
Progressive,
I
yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
give me the glasses. When I go out at night, I put contacts if I'm going out somewhere. And then if I have to read, I have to put on these big, thick reading glasses.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's similar, but it's, anyway, there are a lot of good optometrists, ophthalmologists in the Vineland area as well. And boy, we're also blessed. We were kidding about Mike Trout being born at Newcomb, so he's at Vineland,
Born in Vineland, yeah.
Vineland. And we are so lucky, Amy, Mansu, and the people, in Inspira. I've been in Inspira since this is funny, I was telling Sandy, the last time I was here, Paul Spinelli did the show for me as I wasn't feeling 100%. And Ryan, our producer, was here, and I was sitting with him. And that night, I ended up at the hospital because I ended up having a gallbladder attack and had my gallbladder out. So,
Oh, my son's an ER doctor there.
oh, is it? Oh, that's right. You
Yeah.
told me that.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I was there for another situation back 6-8 months ago or so. Nothing serious, but they were really nice people. The ER doctors, of course, who you meet and they go over things with you.
Yeah, they have a good group of doctors.
They really do.
Yeah, they do.
Very impressed. And the nurses, I'm telling you, folks, the service at Spirit is second to none. And here's a funny story. Glenn Lilly, Glenn.
Yeah.
Glenn's a good friend of mine, and Glenn lives in Bays Landing.
Mm-hmm.
So Glenn had to go, he had a lung problem, he had to go to the hospital. So he went to I guess it's virtual or whatever.
Mays Landing?
No, it's
Atlantic
Atlantic
Care.
Care. Thank
Yeah.
you, Atlantic Care. So he said he was in for 7 days. Well, the last 2 times I was in for like 9 days, and in Spirit 4 days and 5 days. So in his 7 days, he had 4 roommates. I said I was in Spirit for 9 days. I had no roommates because I got my own private room.
That was
Isn't that wonderful?
Wonderful that the
It
new
is.
hospital
Yes,
having
it
your
is. It's you get spoiled. I mean, I remember one time years back, and Spiro was open, but I had to have ablation done, so they took me to Cooper, and Cooper had still 2 people in the room, so my private rooms. We're spoiled.
The new hospitals do,
It's great. Well, I guess, have you been to the Wallace Hill one too?
No.
Yeah,
no.
but I mean, I think
I don't want to visit either.
No, that's right.
No.
Just stay healthy and stay out of them. But I'm just so impressed. The staff there, your son and the intern, the doctors that work.
Yeah, and they have the
emergency room,
residents. It's
they
great.
do.
I mean, and they can't control. Listen, I know sometimes that ER is backed up. It is backed up. It's such a busy ER. But that's just our area, and you know, and unfortunately, sometimes people use the ER as their doctor, and that's
and it's they do have
the most expensive.
Sure is. Isn't it?
Doctor visit you have.
Exactly. But they do have the other places, the out.
Well, they do the urgent care.
Urgent
so,
cares,
yeah.
thank you, yes.
Well, that was supposed to help relieve the emergency room, but I
heard.
think, you know what happened? A lot of people stopped primary care and use urgent care as their primary care.
Oh, okay.
And instead of helping the ER, you know, it's,
it's just the primary
I mean,
care.
it is nice and it does help.
Yeah.
But, you know, people still run to the ER. You know, the baby has a fever. Like, a lot of times. So, you know, you babies have fevers.
Yes.
You give them Tylenol. That's not to say there's a lot of, you know, reasons you should go to the emergency room. But it's one of the busy ones.
Oh my God.
There's no question.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like I say, the staff, they're fabulous. In my opinion, I don't know where you'd find a better staff, from the ER people to the ICU people.
And you know, like, it's funny because they have busy time. So just like, they know on a Monday they're going to get slammed because people on the weekends, you know, they don't want to come to the ER. But on Mondays, it's a bad day to go to the ER.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Well, I'd have been in the
So
evenings.
if you're going to pick what day you want to go,
just don't go Monday.
Don't go on a Monday. Yeah, you're going to get slammed.
We're talking with Sandy Forosisky, who's the Economic Development Director for the great city of Vineland. We'll be back to talk more with Sandy right after these messages.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
Advanced robotics. Experienced physicians. When it comes to minimally invasive surgery, we don't play around.
We're all looking for God. All the signs point to, there is really a God. We try to find Him in all kinds of ways, in all kinds of places, and through all kinds of things. But there's only one way to find Him. That's by personal experience with Him. Come visit us this Sunday. We can introduce you to Him. New Life Church, Millville, New Jersey.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Welcome back to the Queen Restaurant and Insight with Mayor Anthony Fanucci's favorite economic development director. Sandy Forosisky is with us this evening. Mayor will be back next month, and he sends his regards and well wishes. And Sandy, there's so many great programs in Vineland And I know you have a really good UEZ program.
Yes.
You have a new one now?
Well, so funding was restored to the UEZ in fiscal year 2022.
Yeah, thank you, Senator Selden.
Oh yeah, that goes back. Yes,
that's even before, right?
Yeah, that's when they renewed the So we go back to Hurley.
Yeah, Jim Hurley started.
Hurley.
Yeah,
we were the first joint UEZ, Vineland Millville,
that's right.
because they had one more UEZ,
Yep.
and Vineland was going to compete, and Millville was going to, because Bridgeton was already named a UEZ.
Right.
And he came up with the idea of Vineland and Millville applying together.
Yes.
And subsequent to that, later on, Long Branch Asbury Park did it as a joint, and there was only other one that Wildwoods went in as
That's right, I do remember seeing that.
Yeah, so So anyway, we got new funding, and one of the programs we just rolled out is the facade exterior improvement program. Well, exterior improvement program. We'll take off facade. The reason we rolled it out is because back when we had money prior, like before Christie took it away in 2010, we had the facade improvement program for just downtown, and it was a great success. I mean, it really transformed the look of our downtown. But the only complaint we had is other UEZ business saying, why only downtown? Why are they getting it? But, you only have so much money and you want to target an area. So then they cut the funding before we could expand it. So that's one of the first programs we rolled out. So it's up to $50,000.
Oh, that's super.
If it's anything that improves, it's only for micro enterprises. So that means 10 employees or less, or a very small nonprofit. And it's to improve the exterior of your building. But we will have a project review committee, like planning, zoning. So we'll go out, because people, everybody says, oh, I want new windows, I want this, I want that. We're looking to get the biggest bang for our buck to improve what your building looks like. So that's going to be rolled out July 1st. So any UEZ small business can apply for it. Yeah, we're excited about that. And
so they don't have to be on Landis Avenue?
No.
That is wonderful.
We're focusing really on like maybe the Delsey Drive corridor.
Yeah, right.
Because that's the other big commercial corridor.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's nice, it really is. I'll tell you though, I was saying I saw Sandy and her husband Gary at Larry's too recently, and I was just so impressed. If you get a chance, go by what's the company? Your husband's?
GE Mechanical?
GE Mechanical on Grand Avenue and Main Road. And look at those buildings. They are phenomenal. The landscaping.
It's the sun patients. They'll be growing. They just planted them, so they'll start in the summer of that. Yeah.
I just love looking at
love
that.
Those sun patients.
So nice, it really is. So I mean,
so many people don't understand that what your appearance looks like sets an impression.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's funny. That's like 101.
First class.
If your building looks good, people get a positive impression.
Yeah.
And if you keep a messy building, kind of like, I don't know. It's just not.
I agree with it. And it's just beautiful if you get a chance to go on it.
That's why we want to do the exterior improvement program. Is for landscaping. It's for landscaping, some painting, some make your parking lot look nice. That's exactly what we're trying to do, because you go down Delsey Drive and you just don't see it's no colors popping out.
That's true.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe Gary could get everybody to make Delsey Drive look as good as
I mean, the other thing we talked about, though, you got to irrigate it. I mean, it's no good to plant things and don't water them. So that's something we're going to have to think about, because it wasn't meant to make structural repairs to your building, or it was really meant to beautify your building.
Yeah, which it certainly will do. Now, I know we didn't talk about my buddy Hans Lambert. He does everything. How are they progressing?
The first phase of Newcomb, the senior housing, is completely full, and he started the second phase. It's under construction now. He's got 300 people already on the waiting list. And I go back to when we started it on Landis Avenue.
People said, who's going to live
there? Who's going to let their mother live there?
I remember that.
Negative.
Yeah. And that had a waiting list.
That had a waiting
Crazy,
list.
beautiful building.
And then he was afraid to do another phase, filled it up, and now he's doing the next phase in Newcomb, and he's already got a waiting list. Now, of course, there is an income qualification.
Sure, yeah.
You got to fit within, you have to make at least, well, he has a few very low income, but it's somewhere like, let's just say 15 to 30 some thousand. So it's for people who are collecting Social Security and maybe a small pension.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah, and you'll be surprised how many people fall into that category.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Now, and what a wonderful location again. And
Newcomb. That was a sad story, but we finally it turned out okay because that neighborhood suffered with that hospital, just the vandalism and things like that.
But it's another. And, oh gosh, was it a couple of years ago? When did we have the groundbreaking? Because I was there for the first phase.
Oh, the first Newcomb? Phase 1?
Yeah.
Oh.
With Hans.
Yeah.
Year and a half, 2 years ago?
It has to be because it was completed. Yeah, I would say the groundbreaking may have been 2.5 years ago. Because
I was there for that, so I must have still been something then. They hadn't thrown me out of government yet, so I must have still been a county commissioner at that time. But it was a really nice event, nice ceremony, and it's just great. I admire Hans and what he's able to do. He has the knowledge of how to do the things you need to do to get the.
And he's got the original sign. He put it. It's like it's in front of the building. It's like on a mound because they made him say when we said we had to tear down Newcomb. They said, well, let's save some stuff. Right. So he's got the Newcomb sign, and of course, Newcomb is buried there.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. He wasn't a doctor; he was an attorney.
Oh, okay.
But one of the things is he granted the money, but one of the conditions his burial is there, and it stayed. It was deeded.
That's nice.
But it actually looks nice now. He's
Well, it's funny. My youngest son had a lot of medical problems, and we used to go to Newcomb a lot because his doctor was with Newcomb, affiliated with them. And again, they were very, very nice to us, and emergency room a lot of times and things like that. So, but I remember when I was the mayor of Millville in the early 2000s, then Newcomb was still functioning, and Millville was functioning, and Bridgeton. But we realized you couldn't keep 3 hospitals in this county. And the people in Millville got a little ticked off at me, but I thought, no, this is the thing we need to do. We need to join with,
Well, Millville hospital. And Bridgeton joined first. That's when they were the South Jersey regional. Yeah. And Newcomb was still Newcomb Hospital.
That's true.
And we were the last ones to join. And then they decided the best location, which really it is, was right there at 55. Because if you remember, Bridgeton had a location, and Millville, they had land in Millville. I think it was on, the road that goes to Nab Avenue. And, Bridgeton sued them not to build, and that's why they agreed to keep the ER open in Bridgeton.
That's right. I forgot about that.
That was
But Chet Kalikowski was the guy
who
started.
Yes,
what a
I
great
dealt with
guy.
Chet a lot.
And I mean, he and I said, you're right, we can't have 3 individual hospitals with the technology and the multi-million-dollar piece of equipment and machinery you needed to do it. And we have been blessed, as we talked about. We're very, very fortunate to have a regional hospital like
right next to our college, too.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Eds and Meds, the whole thing.
Great synergy.
Yeah, it really is. It's worked out.
But it did for Vineland. It was great because, one of the things we did is we told them we would bring the sewer to them.
Yeah,
so that was, and we used UEZ funding.
Oh,
that whole corridor, Sherman Avenue, now that became a whole, medical office building.
Exactly. And the rehab hospitals.
Yes, right next door.
Think about all of those things that wouldn't have been there had that not happened. Because they want to locate close to the hospital. And even there, next to the hospital, College Drive, that's where my gastroenterologist, Dave Shields, is.
Yes.
There's a lot of people there. They even now have a surgery center there in that property, in that building as well. So a lot of good things happening in Vineland and in Cumberland County. We'll be back to talk more with Sandy Forosisky, and we're going to tell you about who the new director is of the Empowerment Zone. And we'll do that right after these messages.
I'm Brian Lankin, third generation business owner, Al Shoes. Been at the same location since 1961, our 61st year. We specialize in work boots, work shoes, orthopedic shoes, baby walking shoes, and school shoes. We go up to a men's 17 and a woman's 13. It's $5 off 25 and 10 off 100 if you mention that you've seen this.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
I chose DeMarco Louisi Funeral Home because they treated me with respect and compassion. I couldn't have gone through all this if I didn't have DeMarco Louisi by my side. They did everything that they could to make me happy, and that was important to me and my kids.
At the DeMarco Louisi Funeral Home, we're here for you and your family in your time of need.
New Life Church in Millville, New Jersey presents a musical celebration of God and country. Join us on July 2nd for our musical celebration of the independence of our nation. We'll celebrate our nation's freedom and our personal freedoms through our salvation in Jesus Christ. It happens July 2nd at New Life Church in Millville, New Jersey, as we celebrate God and country.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. We're at the wonderful Quinn restaurant, Lincoln, Atlantis, and Vineland, where they have some of the best servers you're ever going to find. And you got great food, affordable prices, $25 for 2 meals. No, not one, 2 meals. And I'm telling you, the meal I get is turkey, stuffing, vegetable, salad or soup. I usually get salad. And then I get a dessert. All of that for $12.50. But you got to bring a date or a guest or somebody with you because you need to do 2. But it's just amazing. 2 for $25. Excellent food, great people. Come on by. The Quinn restaurant, Lincoln, Atlantis, and Vineland, and they present Insight, the show with Mayor Fanucci and me. And of course, Mayor Fanucci will be back with us next month in a couple of weeks, early July. And sitting in for him tonight is Economic Development Director for the City of Vineland, Sandy Forosisky. And Sandy, we have a good friend who just took over a big position. Tell everybody about that.
So the Cumberland Empowerment Zone, where I started.
Yes.
And actually, a lot of us started there. Jerry Velasquez was the director. I was the associate director. Then he left. I became the director. Then when I left to come work for the city, Janine Cabanero, and then it was Janine McDonald. She she took over, and she recently moved on. And Denise Jackson, who was the executive director of the Vineland, the Enterprise Zone Development Corporation of Vineland and Millville, when in 2010, when they stopped the funding, the position was eliminated because we would have no funding to pay for it.
And she became my favorite banker at TD
Bank. She went to work for TD Bank. And
I miss her.
So I think she always had it. She's a community person, number one.
She is.
She always had it, but she just had it in her. So when we were interviewing for the position, Ebbathy is the chairman, and
I was on the empowerment side.
And she applied, and we had some other candidates we interviewed, but we said, you know what? She'd hit the ground running. The other ones weren't local, and they didn't have let me tell you, she hit the ground running. She really did. She's out there hustling loans. So for those who don't know, the empowerment zone in 2000, we were designated a federal empowerment zone. Again, as other things go, that fizzled out. But as we did with the urban enterprise zone, the empowerment zone did a loan program, so they had funding to sustain them. So we're pretty much basically a community lender, basically. And we do after school programs.
Oh, that's
like they
right,
get
yeah.
grants, they get outside grants,
That's super.
and that's run by Cindy Angelo. She works for the empowerment zone.
Yeah.
But so we're really working on building up the small business loan programs for
And
the
that
county.
came from the second generation,
Yes,
people that
yes,
borrowed before.
yes.
Now, in the empowerment zone, it's Vineland, the Millville Airport.
Well,
Is
that
it-
okay. When
okay,
it first
was-
it was Vineland Census Tract, Center City Vineland,
Right.
Millville Airport, Vineland Industrial Park, and 3 census tracts in the city of Bridgeton and Port Norris.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, in Commercial Township.
Yeah.
And because you had to have qualified census tracts, and then you were allowed to designate 3 industrial areas. So at the time, Vineland and Bridgeton were the only 2 that had qualified census tracts because, believe it or not, Millville was a pie, so it didn't have a concentration.
Right.
Now it's changed. But anyway, fast forward, the empowerment zone helps all county businesses.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Because the empowerment zone boundaries really are not.
Yeah, and you're using second generation money, so it's not the restrictions.
I mean, so it's pretty much Vineland, Millville, Bridgeton,
Yeah.
but you know they do help the townships.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And if you know Denise, and she's a wonderful lady, great personality, and she knew everybody because of the urban enterprise.
Yes.
And she was the
Hit the
executive
ground
director for that as
Yeah.
well. So that was nice to get her out of banking. Although I do miss her because she was my banker, and I don't have anybody to call now at TD Bank. In fact, she didn't even know who replaced her. My cousin Rob Curley is the president
Yes.
of TD Bank. I got to call him. I don't even think he knows who took over the TD Bank across from the Cumberland Mall. So that's where I used to go, of course. And I still, well, my bookkeeper goes there. I don't go very often, but she goes there. I want to thank them for their support. They're a great sponsor, TD Bank is. And if you want it, this is a funny story. I'm not going to mention the other banks, Andy, but my son had business dealings with another bank. So I wanted to deposit money. I also go to Noble Savings. So I went to Noble Savings alone and withdrew some cash to take over to the bank that he deals with. Now this was 10 after 4 on a Friday. That bank was closed. I think, well, okay, the lobby's closed, but I'm sure the drive-in must be open. There is no drive-in. It's just ATM machines. I'm thinking, my God, you talk about the most inconvenient bank. TD is the most convenient. They're open all the time. Everything's there. Noble Savings, I go there a lot. They're very convenient as well. I thought, how can you run this way? And it's funny, too, because as we talk about with Denise, she was out there, Sandy Taylor, who worked for TD Bank. They were out in the community. They were volunteers on boards and helping and things like that. So there were 2 that I knew from TD. But this bank that I'm talking about, the world's most inconvenient bank, has nobody. I don't ever know anybody from that bank. I've never seen anybody. I've never seen the manager, the assistant manager at Rotary, Kiwanis, nowhere at all. So I don't even know who runs the bank, but it's not the most convenient, I'll say that. So but I guess they're a large bank nationwide, so I guess they must be doing something well other places. Not here.
Yep.
Anyway, so what other good things have we done?
Well, we have food processing, cold storage.
You
still
always get those places.
Yeah, we have another big project coming through. It's a processing, trucking, cold storage. They're coming to Vineland. We have 2 Italian food processors.
I think they'll do well.
Yes, and I still can't get over. We lost one to Millville because I didn't have land.
That's the problem. Can't we make more land?
Well, we're working with the state still with the Vineland Development Center West Campus to turn that into a industrial park. Yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe land is a short supply.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, we don't want to. East Vineland is a farming community. I mean, that's never going to go industrial.
And you know, and I know, Sandy, what's wonderful, why the Vineland Industrial Park is so jammed is it's right next to Route 55. Yeah. And I mean, the other day I was coming back and I had to go a different route. I got off of Garden Road and ended up coming down Mill Road. And Ray Kronk is a friend of mine.
Oh, yeah, Ray, he's been going crazy.
Yeah,
Mike Lavari, Ray Kronk, all of them.
Davies.
Cold storage, and Davies.
Yeah.
And you know, it's funny. People want to spend so much money, site selectors, attract new businesses. I always say our biggest business development is local business expansion, or someone that knows they're here and comes here because of them.
Yeah, that makes it. Makes a lot of sense. It really does. I mean, it's just wonderful to see all the businesses there, and you know, again, hopefully, like you said, you can get the land from the state where the West Campus is. What's happening with Elwyn?
I mean, it was sold. It was sold, and they're, you know, they're leasing up all the existing office space.
Yeah, that's what I
They
thought.
tore down the houses.
Okay, gotcha.
We go back and forth with them for the grand plan for the rest of the site, but there's been no agreement on.
That building is attractive. That one building, I could buy it, and I see the ground.
The newer buildings, and they're keeping what they call the mansion, the old office building, the one that, if any historical significance, that building, they're not demoing that.
Yeah,
that's
good.
We have not gotten like a new site plan. Right now, they're just working off of the existing buildings that are there.
Right, it's there. So.
Yeah, the other I worry about the. So one of the issues we had with the Vineland Developmental Center West Campus is the State Historic Preservation Office. So this is crazy. 2 offices at the state, and they came down to look at the buildings to see if there was any historic significance to the buildings, which I don't know what they're doing. But the main campus at Easton and it has some beautiful buildings, and I'm like, if anybody better be paying attention to buildings.
Is that still operating?
It's owned by the state. It is operating. Well, it's very it's downsized.
I see. Okay, somebody asked me. I said, I think it's.
Oh yeah, remember there was this Senator Van Drew when he was senator helped say we lobbied don't close it, and he lobbied the state and was successful in keeping it open. But they're down to. The big push was group homes, so the only people there were the extremely disabled.
Right, that's a good point. Which is understandable.
But I hear, I mean, I have no official thing, but I hear eventually the plan is for them to close that. But that's a beautiful campus.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
And it has some beautiful buildings.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
Well, Sandy, thank you so much for coming in.
It's my pleasure,
Gary
Jim.
I said hello.
I will tell him.
We certainly thank you so much for joining us this evening on Insight with Mayor Finucci. Representing the mayor is Sandy Forosisky, the Economic Development Director for the City of Vineland, one of the best in the states, if I may tell you honestly. She does a fantastic job. She answers her phone. She responds immediately to text messages. She's like every person's dream to get a hold of. For anything you need, you just call the Economic Development Department in the City of Vineland. Sandy will make sure she takes care of you and helps you in every way. And there's a lot of benefits in Vineland. UEZ, loans, the empowerment zone, all these things that are happening. Look into it. If you have your business, call, check out, and see what you can do to improve your business here in the City of Vineland. And I want to thank our producer, Ryan Narowski, for producing the show this evening. And for Sandy Forosisky, I'm Jim Quinn. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again. Take care. Bye-bye.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.